there's been a real shift in kind of where people are looking to spend that money on a grill and, the fuel types and things like that. So what are you seeing in that space, and what is sort of the, is it gas? Is it the pellet? What's really taking charge right now?
So gas still dominates the percentage of grills that are sold. What's changed in 2022, for the first time in 100 years, charcoal will be exceeded by pellets as a fuel source for grills. Between the three, pellet has now moved into second place.
Welcome into the Independent Thinking Podcast. This is your host, Rob Stott. We're kicking off a month of outdoor coverage on our Independent Thinking blog this month in June. And what better way to kick it off? We thought the only way we could really kick that off is by talking to our in-house outdoor guru, and that's Mr. John Laing. For those that know him here, our resident grill master and just a knower of all things outdoor. And Mr. Laing, our director of appliances and outdoor here at Nationwide Marketing Group, graciously joined us, and him and I sat down for a podcast to dive into the world of outdoor. He's seen a lot of things. He recently writing a blog for us about the trends he's keeping an eye on, and that goes everything from the grilling space, obviously, which makes up a big portion of the outdoor category here for us at Nationwide, but also some of the other ancillary verticals and related categories that go along with it. Everything from outdoor power to the outdoor furniture. We got outdoor electronics and so much more that he's keeping an eye on and helping members work into their merchandising mixes at their stores. And to go along with everything that we're talking about with outdoor, there's obviously the PrimeTime Backyard to talk about as well. The experience that we had there in Phoenix back in February with the grill vendors that were all set up outside and cooking food. And John's got some big things planned for Orlando, and we're excited about kind of where he's taken that space and what we're going to be seeing down there, when we gather together in August. And it's going to be awesome is all I can really say. I don't want to spoil too much, that we talk about here, and then also that you'll be able to experience if you're with us in Orlando this August. So just a great time. Always have a lot of fun talking to John and picking his brain on this category and what he's seeing. So let's just dive into it. This is Mr. John Laing on the Independent Thinking Podcast talking about the outdoor category. All right, we are back on the Independent Thinking Podcast and real excited today. I think the last time we talked, it might have been coming right out of KBiz. So it's been about 3 months or so back in February. Mr. John Laing, our director of appliances and outdoor. Appreciate you jumping in and diving in here right at the start of what I have to imagine is a pretty busy time of year for the outdoor category.
It is, Rob, and thanks for having me on. We're right on the cusp of June here as this comes out, and most exciting time relative to retail activation. So yeah, it's very exciting, and glad to be engaged with it.
Yeah. So, that's kind of where I wanted to start off. I know that you think about some of the other categories that we talk about and represent here at Nationwide, and they've got kind of those highs and the roller coaster of a calendar when it comes to the importance of their category at a particular time of year. Is that is June sort of the Super Bowl month for outdoor, if you will, or what's it? I know that it might change depending on location and weather in certain areas and things like that, but is this the month for outdoor?
Yeah, June is certainly the most popular month, and I think bookending the two holidays of Father's Day and 4th of July, that period is number one seasonality during the year, and then second is Black Friday. So there's still a lot of business that goes on outside of those periods, but that's when the most activation occurs.
Obviously, I know a big part of that, of course, is grilling season. That's what June is. I think June is grilling season. One of them is barbecue season, one of the barbecue month, and one of them is grilling month. June and July. So I know that that's obviously a big part of it. But does it kind of trickle over into those other outdoor categories as well?
Yes, I think with all the changes that have gone on the last couple of years with COVID and people staying home more often, getting used to whether it be grilling more outside or just spending more time outside with outdoor furniture, new outdoor furniture, adding, consumer electronics, outdoor TVs and audio, video, and certainly comfort products have all been really exciting, I'll call it outdoor subcategories, if you will. And that's gone really, really well. But I will say that we've seen a little bit of a slowdown, as we have in some other categories like appliances. There's been a little bit of slowdown in grill sell-through year to date, or at least during the first quarter. And I think, the uncertainty of the economy and maybe a concern about feeling that they had with money buying whatever they wanted. So today, like in grills, about 60% of the business is done because product is under duress, it's failed, and they need a new one. It's the other 40% that has slowed down a little bit.
Well, that's an interesting number, because I know you think about refrigeration, like or kitchen appliances. Obviously, the indoor appliances. It's I almost imagine mostly under duress type purchases, someone having to replace something. It's almost a 50-50 split in the outdoor space, it sounds like, which you think about the category, it almost feels like that sort of like, I want a new grill, like, let's go look at one. But actually there are a large majority, it sounds like, that are those duress purchases.
Yeah, it's very similar to the appliance business, honestly. So the appliance dealers can certainly relate to those comments. The interesting thing, I guess, with Father's Day, there's some emotion tied up in that, just as there is with Mother's Day, and trying to appreciate the females of the world. Fathers, may get that discretionary purchase that they had hoped for. And some of these discretionary purchases are for multiple grills, right? They may have a gas grill that's working just fine, but they really want that pellet grill because they've been hearing so much about it. Or they may go into another fuel type, like a Kamado style lump charcoal cooking that they've heard about and want to try. So just like my patio, I've got multiple grills out there and do different styles of foods, depending on what I need to get done.
Well, and that's an interesting thing too, because I know you obviously track a lot of trends in this space and the way things are going. And I forget if it was this prime time or maybe sometime in between. One of the thought leadership pieces you shared, there's been a real shift in kind of the means of cooking, like the type of cooking that, it has sort of taken popularity and kind of risen as far as, where people are looking to spend that money on a grill and, the fuel types and things like that. So what are you seeing in that space, and what is sort of the, is it gas? Is it the pellet? What's really taking charge right now?
Yeah, so gas still dominates the percentage of grills that are sold. It's some mid 50s range. 55% of the grills sold are in gas. What's changed in 2022, for the first time in 100 years, charcoal will be exceeded by pellets as a fuel source for grills, and that's in terms of dollar sales. So there will be more pellets. 23% sold of the fuel market will be in pellets. 22% or slightly less will be in charcoal. So there's your 100% basically of fuel types that are being mostly used today. There is a small subset of electric style grills that we can talk about a little bit separately, but that's between the three. Pellet has now moved into second place.
Well, and that's, I mean, it kind of brings up an interesting point, and not to, I didn't mean to plug them, but obviously we, last primetime we saw a new vendor in Vision Grills that they kind of combine those styles, right? So it neat to see sort of, all the different gas types kind of come together, fuel types rather, come together and be sort of in one grill. So you can kind of, as a dealer, capitalize on the increase in popularity for charcoal, and but have someone that still maybe wants to have that gas experience and the quickness of cooking, if you will, as opposed to the more experiential cooking that charcoal is.
Yeah, well, the lump charcoal business is different than just charcoal briquettes, and that is a fuel type that a dealer should be stocking. Just like pellets, if they're selling pellet grills, they need to be stocking pellets. And we've talked about this many times before, but an appliance dealer sees that consumer every 6 or 7 years. If someone's selling grills, most likely they have the opportunity to see that customer once a month if they want to provide them sales of, I could call it consumables, whether it be a fuel type like charcoal, lump charcoal, or pellets, or spices, sauces, and rubs, those kinds of things.
Yeah, and kind of a lofty question, but do you ever see a day where gas gets supplanted by another fuel type?
I'll never say never, Rob. If California takes over the United States in terms of their rules and regulations, it's very possible because everything's going to be electric.
Yeah, understandable. No, but it is a different type of cooking. As someone that has multiple types of grills in your backyard, I know it's a kind of a personal preference type thing, but what's it for you? The difference between obviously, the speed of cooking is one thing, but what attracts you to one type of fuel, type of grill as opposed to the other?
Well, I'm not too complicated. I do like to cook and that kind of thing, but gas, it is the convenience of speed, and you feel like you're managing that temperature because you can see the flame and kind of feel the heat. But it's definitely speed for me in gas. When it comes to convenience and really cooking a perfect product without putting a lot of effort in, that's pellet cooking. Excuse me. So, that when I want to do something and cook it and have a great smoke flavor, excuse me, have a great smoke flavor, but still not have to babysit it. I use a pellet grill because the saying is, if you're looking, you're not cooking. So if you keep opening that lid, you're not cooking. So I don't like to look. I like to do my own thing and come back and find that it's done. Now, for my romantic cooking, if you will, romancing a food item, it's definitely a Kamado style, like Vision grills. Has been a lot of fun. I mean, I've done some things on there that I typically, would do in the oven, like Easter ham. I did on the Vision grills, and it turned out fantastic, kind of thing. So.
Wow, that's awesome. Neat to kind of get that. We know how much of an expert you are in this space, but to hear the romanticizing of food and just hear you talk like that is so cool, and it obviously speaks to your knowledge in the space. And what about you can kind of, the way you're talking about it too, it sort of speaks to how a retailer can show the opportunity they have when they have these products in their stores, that they can go and have an event and kind of show off the different types of grills that they might have in their stores, and just the what kind of experiential retailing opportunities exist because of this category.
Yeah, I mean the simplest approach is to make sure you work with a vendor partner and get a nice pop-up tent with their logo and have food supplied items, easy to cook items, safe to cook, and have it sitting for a while. And do that during your promotions, especially this June, July period is the best time of year to be able to do that. You're touching all the senses, which there aren't many products today that you touch all the senses. Think of anything we sell. It doesn't really involve taste or smell. I'm so sorry. Taste or smell. So touching all the senses is really important.
Yeah. And I know too, it kind of makes me think about the experience we had in Phoenix and what went on with the PrimeTime Backyard there. And, we'll come back to some trends, but I want to give while we're thinking about it, the opportunity to talk about, what you saw out of that. And then looking ahead to in a couple months here, couple of weeks almost, we could start saying, we're going to be down in Orlando, and I know you got some big things planned for down there. So talk about that, a little bit, what you're looking to do with the backyard.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that in just a second. I just thought of another example of experiential cooking, and that is cooking classes. So our more progressive retailers, give an example of Orsini's up in West Virginia, who has taken built a 3-stall garage, essentially, building with roll-up doors, installed cameras, and will have classes there teaching consumers how to cook on these various products. And then he'll feed that to his social network and Facebook and others to be able to extend his brand name and his expertise as a retailer and giving that experiential cooking.
Oh, that's also and a great example, of how you can kind of take that sort of that category and really blow it out into something that, consumers can come to the store and it gives them another reason to be at the store. And experience. We keep almost overusing the word, but it's really the best way to describe it. That category and everything it has to offer, and then kind of entices them to maybe, like, while they're there, almost impulse buy a grill. But
yeah, and it does happen. So let's talk about PrimeTime a little bit. If we look back at Phoenix in February, we had a good show. We had a fairly small space to be able to demonstrate and actually cook outside, but it worked out great. The vendor partners were more than gracious in their participation. They cooked for 2 days, made lots of sample foods. We provided some beverages along the way, whether it be water or adult type. And these vendors really, I had so many great comments, especially from a couple of first timers that were so appreciative of our membership and how they engaged with them, how interested they were in learning and interested in buying. So, it was a small but great effort. And what really excites me now is the opportunity where we're, some 74 days away, I think, from the PrimeTime event. And this particular venue, it's a Gaylord Palm in Orlando. We were there in 4 years ago in 2018 and took all of our outdoor vendors and moved them to the outside. So we had, I think, 8 or 9 little patios set up, each individual grill vendor cooking, and then another number of vendors under a 60 by 150 foot tent that included products, whether it be grills. We had a spa company, we had outdoor power in mowers, we had outdoor furniture, and this show we're expecting all those again, plus we'll be adding consumer electronics products with outdoor TVs from Furrion or Samsung. So I'm very excited about the opportunity. Yes, it's going to be August and it's going to be warm, but our vendors are very encouraged. They love to demonstrate their products. And I would just encourage our members to dress lightly as possible. And we'll have fans and beverages and music and games and make it a really fun, relaxing event for you.
Well, great opportunity for those outdoor AC units to kind of, and cooling fans to show themselves off and see how well they actually work, right?
Yeah, there you go. We have misting fans from Sun Heat International. So would strongly suggest that we get a few of those and maybe the members to sell a few of those this summer.
They might, talk about impulse buy. I might be doing some of that right on the outdoor show floor there in Orlando. No, but that'll be, a lot of fun because you think about just what it was like. The patio in Phoenix and everything that was set up there. Just just a couple of grill vendors and obviously some furniture was out there as well, and being able to kind of lounge and get that experience we were talking about at a retail store, right? Having an event and being able to cook on those grills and share some food and just see what is possible with those products. So to kind of see that on steroids, if you will, is down there in Orlando. I know we're all excited about it, and you've got some really fun things planned that we're looking forward to taking part in again. And maybe a little little preview here, but we're doing some live streaming from this show coming up. So we'll maybe be walking around that area and live taste testing some food and giving some on the spot reactions. So we'll have some fun.
Well, we've coined this event now outdoor PrimeTime Backyard. And, you think about the places that you typically are the most relaxed. And unless you're mowing your yard or doing some yard work, it is the backyard, right? You're hanging out and just relaxing with family or even individually. And I think, that translates to a really welcoming environment, whether it be at the store location or we're doing it at PrimeTime. that's the reason selling outdoor products, especially grills, is one of the most fun products you can have to sell, because the consumer's not as, I guess, uptight. They're not as much under duress. Even if they're buying a product that's failed, they're excited about getting something new that they've done reviews on or done research on. So we think this prime time will be our best ever, and we'll be able to show the members, what some of the things they can take back to their store.
Yeah, such good points you mentioned there. And I know too, obviously you mentioned that grilling and the grills are such a big part of this, but the way it's expanding, and you hit on it at the top too, I want to give you a chance to dive a little bit deeper. Some of those kind of related verticals, the adjacent outdoor verticals, if you will, that have kind of come onto the scene that allow you to have such a bigger and more inclusive outdoor experience at this show. And that's the TVs you mentioned. And obviously outdoor furniture has had a big push here too. And some of the other, categories as well. What are trends wise? What are you seeing in those spaces? And obviously we'll get a chance to see some of these trends on display in Orlando, but what are some of the areas that, retailers have kind of maybe some opportunities that they didn't over the last couple of years, or, categories that are kind of coming to the forefront that maybe you didn't expect to, over the last couple of years?
Well, there are some trends going on in cooking that, I touched on, in a recent blog, and I don't necessarily need to go into depth on those, but ancillary items in cooking like pizza ovens are extremely hot right now. Things like induction add-on cooktops, small cooktops outside are coming on. And those kinds of products that, make it a different cooking experience. But as I look at the other verticals, probably the hottest, I would say, no pun intended, is outdoor fire tables, fire pits, is an area I don't understand why more of our retailers aren't engaged in that, because it's a fairly simple product, doesn't take up a lot of floor space. It's easily added by furniture dealers that are probably already selling some outdoor furniture. And so I think there's opportunity there. And, we continue to look for vendor partners that can help us expand in that vertical. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out RST. It was a fairly recent signing last July or August, I believe. RST carries outdoor furniture, and they've recently just added a pretty significant lineup of fire tables, all propane gas driven, or gas driven, and very excited about having them come to the show and hopefully be out there under the tent selling their products and showing the way on outdoor comfort. Outdoor TVs, I think that's one of those ancillary categories that if you have discretionary income still and you're not worried about the economy, those products are hot and people are making that part of their entire outdoor living environment. It's kind of like, I guess, built-in kitchens for outdoor. I believe the study was about 10% of the consumers a year ago said that they were interested in doing a built-in kitchen. That number's actually risen in the most recent study. It said almost a third of them would like to have an outdoor built-in kitchen. Now, will they actually spend the money for it? I don't know. That's yet to be told, but their interest is there, the desire's there. And with that goes the big things like outdoor TV as an add-on, because that's really your entertainment area.
Yeah, it's just crazy to kind of see. Obviously, the pandemic has had an impact in many ways, and we know that expansion of spending to the outdoor space and enhancing that outdoor, living, taking the living room essentially outdoors, along with the kitchen, was something that was a big deal and a big push, and kind of crazy to see just how quickly it's taken hold, and the ways that all these companies are, either developing product or finding ways to get their things to be outdoor ready, from the TVs to the audio experiences. Obviously landscape audio kind of comes along with the, having a TV outside and making sure you think the home theaters and how they're set up with 4 walls, you take those walls away, audio can kind of go everywhere. So having speakers that are built for that, and obviously the kitchen as well, the outdoor kitchen. So so a whole new world out there, which is awesome to see. And
Yes,
no
it
pun
is.
intended there, because that's a Disney quote, and we're going to Orlando. So I didn't no copyright.
Yeah, there you go.
Here. So, but, no, but Mr. Laing, this was a lot of fun to chalk it up and chum it up with you on the outdoor space and everything
Yeah.
we have coming. So.
Well, I will say, I am glad that we're kind of have COVID behind us, and that supply chains are starting to get better. Just a couple last points here, I would say, get ready for, if you're in the grilling, if you're selling grills, get ready for preseason. It's going to be more important than ever to plan your 2023 now. Big Box is already ordering their product for next year. And I would strongly encourage you to start asking vendor partners when their program's coming, because we do anticipate some of our vendors coming in July and August with those programs, and how important it is to place orders now. And frankly, that's not just in grills, that's in like outdoor power equipment. It's going to be extremely important as well. But the other thing I was going to mention, I think, was I'm glad it's kind of behind us, because more vendors are interested in talking to us now, because they're getting their act together on supply chain, versus the last 2 years, they didn't have enough product to even talk to us. So, I can honestly tell you, I just did this calculation, Rob. I have 14 outdoor vendor prospects.
Wow.
And they manage some 25 brands. And most of them are not overlap. They're different and new to our membership. And I don't know how many I'll be able to close. I'm hoping to close 1 or 2 here, definitely for prime time, and very excited about that. But we are working hard on the members' behalf to try to find, new products within the vertical that they're dealing with, and certainly new verticals outside of that to help their business.
Yeah, there's more reason to be excited about the space, more reason to be excited about, coming to primetime and seeing some of these, hopefully some of these prospects that you're talking about and talking to, and just more reason to be excited about the category, because it just growth abounds in this space, and it's awesome to see. And I know we've got the perfect guy at the helm to, that knows all about it, and is clearly so very excited about it too. So it's infectious, to kind of talk to you and see the space and where your head's at and where our members' heads should be at. So, Mr. Laing, we appreciate it and look forward to seeing you down there in Orlando before we know it.
Yes, I thank you, Rob, and I hope everyone has a great June.
You too, sir.
All right.
Awesome. And thanks again to John. Like I said at the top, it's always great to pick his brain. He's such a just well-versed, and obviously, he's got his finger on the pulse of the outdoor space and outdoor cooking in particular. So just so cool to hear him talk about it and share that knowledge, with me, selfishly, but also with the rest of our membership in the independent channel. So always great chatting with him. Happy to have him on the podcast and look forward to doing it again soon. But as always, appreciate you listening to the Independent Thinking Podcast, and we will catch you next time.